We are now joined by our race winner, Martin Truex Jr., after winning the 25th annual Toyota Save Mart 350. Martin, with this win, you now qualified for the 2014 Sprint All-Star race. So, quick highlight for you, and you broke your streak, but just tell us about your race this weekend.
What streak?
Tell him that ain't no streak.
Michael had 400 something. I wasn't even close. I had a good 4 or 5 years left in me.
Yeah, you were all set.
Tell us about your run out there.
Oh, well, obviously I'm ecstatic. I'm not exactly sure how that all happened. Chad and I both probably weren't 100% certain or happy with our car after practice. And I think I told Sherry last night, I'm a little bit nervous about today because I've come here and run very well for the last, really ever since I've been driving the Napa car, I've come here and we've been really fast and raced really well. And I think every single year we've gotten spun out at some point, probably late in the race and when we were up front. So today it was, I was a little bit nervous going in. But after the first 15 or 20 laps of the race, we settled in and the car really came to me. And I think we made one adjustment on air pressure in the first pit stop. And from there on out, it was just, the car was phenomenal all day long. And I was able to really settle in and focus on hitting my marks. The pit strategy obviously worked out perfectly. We were able to get some track position, and once I was near the front and didn't have to run the car, 110%, I could run 99, 100%. It just would stay with me in the long run so good, and I was able to drive away from, pretty much anyone. So just proud of Chad and proud of, my team, and so happy to get Napa into victory lane. This means so much to me. They've stood behind me for, the first 3 years of our deal, and I can't even tell you. They've been such huge supporters of ours, and so is Michael and Rob and TRD and everybody that makes this deal happen. I'm just so proud today I'm able to put Chad and all my guys in victory lane because they work so hard and they do such a great job. And there's been countless times where they deserve to win the race, and for some reason it just didn't happen. And so that's the biggest thing about today. Just proud to get all those folks in victory lane, and obviously for me it's just. It's quite a relief, to be honest. I don't know what else to say. I mean, just a special day for me, and it was a lot of fun today.
Today's winning crew chief, Chad Johnson's also with us. Chad, you've had strong cars all year, and you finally got that win. Tell us, from your perspective on top of the box, how your day went.
Like Martin said, we didn't have the practice that we wanted Friday. We didn't feel real confident that the car was where we needed it to be. And then obviously we had our issues in qualifying, and the guys did a really good job of replacing all the wiring in the car from an incident that we had in qualifying. So it's typical road course racing. You set your strategy before the race, and you stick to it. But, you kind of got to adapt as the cautions come out, and, you make the decisions based on the information you have and, hope the cautions fall your way. And today they did. And, it's an awesome feeling to get all the guys that work on this Napa Toyota into victory lane. There's not a better bunch of guys in the garage. I wouldn't replace any of them with anybody in the garage. So it's awesome to get them, get Napa, get Martin back in victory lane. And, it's just a good day.
We also have our team owner, Michael Waltrip. Michael, that's back-to-back Sonoma wins here for you. So tell us about your weekend.
It's been great. I was real confident that, Martin would run well today. I've just seen him run on this track, and he understands how to get around here as good as anyone. And so I've been confident all week coming here about how we perform. I just checked my phone. I have 68 messages from people, and the last one was from one of our employees back in North Carolina, Bobby Kennedy. He's been with me since 2000 building cars, and he said I might be late tomorrow. So there is a lot of people that I don't think I can articulate how important it is for us to get Napa to victory lane. They've been with me since 2001 when I drove for Dale, and we hadn't had them to victory lane since 2003. So, you talk about Martin's breaking a losing streak. Napa broke one bigger than that. And Michael Waltrip Racing exists because of some key cornerstone partners. One is Napa, one is Aaron's. Obviously Toyota is the reason why I have a team. and then to have 5 Hour Energy join us and let us bring on Clint, that made our team better. So it's just really special to get a win for Martin and for Napa. We knew. I believe in this man. He can drive a car as good as anybody on the track. And Chad is new to the crew chiefing game. He joined as an engineer, and he's worked his way up. And he called the perfect race today, and he's been on his game all year long. And it's really fun to see these two mature, and I think they can do a lot of special things over the next few years.
All right, we'll load up for a question. If you just raise your hand, we'll get a wireless mic to you. State your name and affiliation. We'll start in the back here.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Martin, since you won that race at Dover, you've had several heartbreaking losses. Atlanta, Kansas are the first ones that come to my mind. When you had the big lead today and you got 10, 15 laps to go, any negatives try to creep into your brain at all throughout those final laps?
No way. He's a different Martin. He just said, I'm going to burn these babies down.
I did. I was like, I don't care what happens.
Yeah.
It don't matter. If caution comes out, that's the way it is. We're just going to have to beat them. But I was a little nervous about a caution. But, I just tried to focus and run laps at the speed that we needed to run. And Chad is really good about telling me how fast I need to run. And he was trying to get me to save a little fuel. And so he told me the lead I had and what the guy behind me was running, and I just tried to run a little bit faster than the guy behind me and make sure I was not burning my tires up in case we had a caution. Because I kind of thought in my head that chances were we were probably going to get one. But fortunately we didn't, so it worked out.
Chad, same question to you. I mean, you've been there, almost there, as so many times with this team, and your thoughts on the final laps?
Yeah, surprisingly enough, I really wasn't too nervous at all. At that point, you kind of made your bed, so you just got to hope things go your way. If they do, great. If not, you've done, your 100% that you can to put it in position to win. So you just got to hope that they do. And, these things aren't easy to win. Every week there's 43 guys out there that are capable of winning. So they're not easy to win by any means, and everything has to go right for it to happen. And today, the stars aligned and it went right. So,
Jeff Gluck from USA Today Sports. Martin, along those same lines, now that something didn't go wrong when you're in position to win, do you think that will
Hallelujah.
do you think that will help you mentally in the future? Like if
Yes.
you're in this position again and you're not necessarily expecting it, that things can go right.
Without a doubt. And I'll say that without a doubt in my mind that some of those things that I've thought of when I was leading and some of those things that happened, me thinking about them is not what made them happen, But yeah, I definitely think that it'll be easier for me to be leading a race, and I'll definitely have less to worry about, I guess is what I'm saying. It's definitely a load off my shoulders, and who knows, maybe it will come easier now. I do feel like, I felt like for the last year and a half, if we could just get one, if we could get this first one out of the way as a team, that we could do a lot better job and we could win a lot of races because we've been so good and so fast, and Chad has given me race cars that are just phenomenal so many times, in the past 2 years. Honestly, we should have won 6 or 7 races already, and the fact that we haven't is disappointing, but at the same time, it's kind of motivating, and it's awesome to come to the racetrack every week and say, chances are Chad's going to give me something that's going to be a whole lot of fun to drive, and it's going to be really fast. And that makes my job fun. That's what I started. That's why I race. That's why I started. That's how I got here, by driving fast cars and winning. And so it's fun to be able to do that again. And it's even more fun when you don't have to worry about crap falling out of the sky and hitting your car. Like yesterday, I'm like, oh, come on, again?
What did you tell me the other day if it was raining? What?
No, we can't. No, we can't say that in here. But honestly, we have had some very, very tough breaks.
I forgot.
And things have happened out of it. We really could have won, 3 or 4 races in the past year and a half. If things had just played out differently, but that's part of racing. That's the way it goes. And today it played out in our favor. And I was just glad that it happened finally. those days when you do everything right and you don't win, it's really frustrating, especially for him, because you go back to the shop and you're like, well, what could we have done different? Well, once you know the outcome, you would have done something different. But at the time, with all the information you have, all you can do is make the best decision, whatever you think the best decision is to help you win. And there was a lot of times we did the right thing, it just didn't work out for circumstances. So part of the thing and part of the deal, and hopefully we'll be able to get a lot more days to go our way now.
Jeannie Broussard, Napa Valley Register. It sounds like you guys have been together, a year and a half, couple of years almost, and you're starting to gel, and I think that really helps a team when they all get on the same page. But what I want to know is, how is the Gen 6 car? Do you think it was better with the Gen 6 car? Or what were the major differences between
For being here with the Gen 6?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, yeah, Chad and I have been together, I guess, going on about 2 years now. But he's been the crew chief for a year and a half, I guess. It'll be 2 years into the season. But I have a lot of confidence in him, and when he tells me something, I say, okay. I don't say, well, I don't know. I say, okay. And like today, we're pitting now. Okay. Yes, sir. Here we go. And that's very important. It's important for me to have that confidence in him and that trust in him, and to know when he makes a change in the car that 99% of the time it's the right way. And I know he works harder than anybody in the garage. I can guarantee you that, and so I'm proud of that. But the Gen 6 car here was not really that much different than the old car, honestly. I think part of that had to do with the tire change. This tire had a little bit less grip than the tire we had last year. Track's another year older. Yeah, the cars have more downforce. The cars are lighter. They should handle better, but I think it was kind of a wash. I felt like my braking points, the way I drove the car was very, very similar to the way I drove the car last year. I think the lap times were very similar as well. So it really wasn't a big difference as far as that goes. And, with Sonoma being somewhat of a slower speed track, obviously the downforce doesn't come into play quite as much as the big tracks we go to. So you'd kind of expect that, but not much different than what we've done here in the past.
I have a question. Did anybody ever hit you, or did you ever have a moment, or were you ever mad, or just
Nope.
Pretty normal day?
No, nice day.
I mean, it's not normal if that doesn't happen. So
it was so easy. It was so easy.
Any issue with the brakes?
No, my brakes are phenomenal. Unbelievable.
The weather really helped all those things, I think.
Yeah.
I actually was going to ask about the weather. You kind of solved that one. Michael, you were coming in here confident that you'd get a win for Napa. Then the electrical problem. At what point did you know that the electrical problem was not going to be an issue?
It was it was just a small problem with the cool box, and Chad's pretty smart, and they sorted through that in 2 seconds and knew that it was behind us, and the cool box that we ran today wouldn't happen again. And so I didn't, as soon as I found out what it was, I knew it wasn't an issue anymore. But do y'all notice that every week that the 56 is on the track, it's got Napa Auto Parts on it? They're one of the only sponsors in the whole garage area that sponsors the car. It might be the only sponsor that sponsors the car every week, and they've been doing that since 2001. So it's a great day for them, and I'm thankful that we were able to deliver that win. I know I said that, but I just want to make that point too, as well. In case y'all didn't have a story yet about it, maybe you could write one about the fact that Napa sponsors the car every week.
They're only one of what, two or three that sponsor a car every week?
I think it's the only one, but I can't. I think it's the only one. And this other thing I would say, they have hospitality at the racetracks, and they make these commercials that Martin and I are in. They really, really support this sport that we all love, and make it possible for us to race our car. So, and now I got a goblet.
It is mine. He's just borrowing it for a little bit.
As long as you're sharing and playing nice. Tom Zaleski, the Spectrum of St. George, Utah. Martin, you got to tell me the truth. Were those last, as the laps were ticking down and you were getting away from everybody and the lead was growing, were you nervous at all? Was anything being said on the radio?
he would tell me my lap time, he would tell me my lead, and he would tell me to save fuel. And my spotter would tell me to drive it straight, take care of the tires. And I would tell me to drive it straight, take care of the tires, only run as hard as you need to.
Were you running low on fuel? Could you ever afford a Greenway check?
Well, no. I don't. Well, he was telling me to save fuel, but I knew we weren't close because he wasn't like telling me to slow. I'm going too fast. He wasn't like, slow down more, you're going too fast. Normally I know when we're really close because he'll tell me I'm going too fast, slow down some more. He just told me easy, be easy with the throttle, save me a little fuel. He was pretty calm about it, so I could kind of feel that he was not too nervous and that we were okay. He just wanted a little in reserve.
What did it feel like when he told you Juan ran out? Then did you all of a sudden think, well, if he ran out?
I will tell you this, with 2 laps to go, my engine sounded completely different than it had all day. And then he said Juan run out, and then it sounded even more different.
Yeah.
And then I just put it in 4th gear and rode around the track.
The mind is a powerful thing.
Yeah.
This is for Michael. Bob Hideki from the Santa Rosa Press Democrat. Martin just said that you felt like a tremendous load was lifted off his shoulder. Describe for you what that load felt like and now what it feels like now.
I will never forget, and this was a special moment that happened today when I leaned in the car to congratulate Martin. He had just come onto pit road, and I leaned in, and there were tears in his eyes, and you could feel the elation and the joy and the relief. And as I did that, it took me straight back to 2001 when I finally pulled into victory lane and was able to briefly celebrate what was the greatest racing day of my career. I saw all that same emotion and the same feeling in Martin. So I'm glad I got to experience that, and it reminded me of a special day, and it made me really thankful that he was. You're looking at winners that are totally thankful that we're here, and while your questions might seem repetitive at times and not some of them not that great, no offense, but if you could just keep asking them for a while, we'll keep answering them, because we love being here, and we're really thankful that we're celebrating this win. Martin's got a beer and I got a goblet, so
we're not going anywhere.
Y'all,
yeah, we want to know.
Y'all got any more questions? Just let us know and we'll answer them.
No, we're gonna go upstairs real quick.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Martin, it's so refreshing to have you in person and not on the cell phone this week. But
hey, thanks.
Anyway, did you learn anything from Clint going into this? I mean, obviously with him winning the race last year, were there any notes that you could kind of use off of that team and kind of work together for the strategy this on today?
Absolutely. He even as close as this weekend, we talked about it a lot, and he helped me with a few things. I had a few questions for him about some shift points. And a couple little things. There was a couple spots on the track in practice where he was really fast, and he definitely helped me out with that. So he's been such a great teammate since he came to Michael Waltrip Racing. Him and Mark and Brian when he runs, even though it's very part-time, great teammates. Rodney Childers and all the 55 guys, and Brian Patty, all the 15 guys. And our guys, I mean, they work together so great. Last year we had a lot of new things come into Michael Waltrip Racing, but one thing that the biggest thing that helped us get to the chase for the first time and win races and be competitive and almost have Clint challenge for the championship was teamwork. And I'm very thankful for Clint and Mark and Brian and everybody that's been a part of our team. For all the help that they've given me and vice versa. It's been so much fun to work with those guys. Clint is obviously a character, but he's really good at what he does, and it's been really fun to lean on him and talk to him about racing and see his insight on how the races are going to play out before they even happen. So, yeah, he was a big part of us winning today. He had a great car all weekend long, and we kind of went different directions on setup. He ran one and we ran the other, and obviously ours... our setup and our pit strategy worked out a little bit better than his, but, he was definitely a big part of this win today.
Yeah, and he's also probably the second fastest car, too. He was really coming at the end, and I'm glad Martin said that, because whether there's tracks where Martin excels and Clint really leans on Martin to understand what he does, and there's places where Clint's really good, and Martin does the same with Clint. So they've helped each other. Our driver lineup at the beginning of 2012 with Martin and Vickers, and then Clint joining Martin Truex, it made us all better. It made Martin better because he ain't too proud to beg. He'll say, "What are you doing? How you doing that?" And it's really, really a fun thing to watch as we get better and better. They just keep making each other better.
Zach Albert, NASCAR.com. Martin, following up on that, what's been your comfort level on road courses? I know you've had a nationwide win back at the old Mexico City track, and since then it's kind of been a mixed bag here. What's been your experience with road courses, and how do you feel competing on them?
Man, I really enjoy them. I always have, and I said earlier that I feel like I probably run consistently better here than Watkins Glen, even though Watkins Glen's my favorite road course. Well, maybe not anymore. Since I started driving the Napa car, we've been really competitive here. We've been very fast, and the past couple of years, every time we get up front, we run up front, we race up front all day. Last year we were running second or third, and caution came out, and then we got run. We had a bad restart. We got shuffled back to seventh or eighth, and we got spun out. And the year before that, we were running second or third. We got spun out. The year before that, we were running second or third. So we've always typically run very well here at this racetrack. And Sherry reminded me of that last night because I was a little nervous about my car. She's like, "Why are you nervous? You're a great road. You're always really fast there." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I always get spun out, and it pisses me off." But today we didn't get spun out, and I feel like we've been consistently very good at this racetrack, but today we're able to put it all together. So I do love the road courses. They're a lot of fun. It's neat to do something different, a few times a year. And the first racing I ever did was on road courses, so pretty cool to be able to get a win here today.
Jenna Fryer, AP. I have 3 questions for Michael. Michael, do you want them one at a time?
Yes.
I can concentrate well enough to listen to all 3 of them at once.
Okay. 1, did you foolproof it so you don't break the goblet this year? Okay, I see that you have. 2, what has Michael Waltrip Racing done to become such a road course racing powerhouse after sweeping this race for 2 years in a row? And 3, are you any closer on anything with the 55?
1, the goblet is very fragile, so one must treat it that way. And Clint was a little bit reckless with it last year, and he broke it, not me. But I'm going to make sure this thing gets right back to North Carolina for Martin, or however it works out. We've done a nice job with road racing, but I think there's a couple of reasons. 1, we just have better cars than we had in the past, and so our cars, thanks to the support from Andy Graves and all the folks at Toyota Racing Development, the guys that tune and build the engines, our engines were flawless this weekend. The drivability of an engine is a big part of the setup on a road course. If you can't squeeze the gas down, then you can't go anywhere. It's just that hard to get 830 horsepower to the ground, so the guys really have to ease the gas down. And Toyota TRD took a little heat a couple weeks ago, but our engines are great. And today the engine was exactly the way it needed to be in order to win this race. So I think that if you want to say what have we done, Clint Boyer really made us better on road racing because of how fast he is and how well he's able to squeeze the gas down, do all the things it takes to be successful here. So if the equipment's a lot better, but secondarily Clint, I think, coming over made us better, and that's fun to see. And I exaggerated. I know what you asked for 2 questions, but I forgot the third one.
The 55.
We want Brian Vickers to be a part of this organization going forward. We believe in his ability, and we love him as a person. And he's our guy, and we're trying to get all the pieces of the puzzle put together so that he can drive the 55 and race for a championship next year, just like Clint and Martin Truex Jr. are doing this year. That's our goal, and hopefully over the next few weeks or months we'll be able to say exactly how that will work. but we're very confident that our partners at Aaron's that have been with me since 2000 in this organization since its inception will be back with us and help us to fund that 55 car so that we can race for a championship with 3 cars next year.
This is Jim Utter, Charlotte Observer. Question for Martin. There's been a lot of talk about this being a relief, and I just was curious for you, which is the bigger relief? The fact that you ended a nearly 6-year winless streak, or that you were able to win for a team like Michael Waltrip Racing that you joined that had already shown the possibility that you could win but hadn't yet? I mean, you obviously have come very close in the time that you've been at MWR.
I think all the above. I think, again, the part that meant the most to me, though, was getting the Napa car in Victory Lane and getting Chad and his team and our team in Victory Lane. They're so deserving. They've done such a great job. I think the feeling I had was probably secondary to getting those guys there and kind of accomplishing that and getting, a lot of the pressure off of them and a lot of, pressure off of the company itself as far as Napa's concerned. Those guys deserve Napa, again, being the only sponsor in the sport that sponsors the same car each and every week. We're so lucky to have them as our sponsor. They do so much for us. They're so supportive of me, so supportive of our whole company. And as Michael said, without them, there wouldn't have been any Michael Waltrip Racing. Without them, I don't know where I would be today. So all those things, those were the first things I thought about when I first crossed the line was, I finally did it for all these people. And, I don't think it was most important. I wasn't first in the things I thought about. I wasn't like, finally, it went my way. It was like, finally, I did it for all these people that have done so much for me.
Terry Blunt, ESPN.com. Martin, Jim's question was kind of like this, but at this level, anybody who goes as long as you had without winning, whether they're fair or unfair, rumors start about whether his job's on the line, especially, as you say, with a sponsor as big as Napa that's been with you all this time, been with Michael Waltrip all this time. I think Michael kind of answered that there was no problem there, but is it good to just kind of in those rumors that start when a guy goes that long without a win about is his job safe, is he still going to be there, are they going to replace him? I mean, that kind of thing. Did that run through your mind? I
don't know. I never heard that. Did you? No. I mean, it's always, I guess the I told you so is always a nice kind of feeling to have, but that wasn't, again, that's not why I do what I do. I love racing cars. I love driving for Michael Waltrip Racing because of the reasons I talked about. I knew we were going to win. I knew it the day I went there, and I told people the day I went there, we're going to win again. I'm not done winning. And yes, it's taken a lot longer than I thought it would, but there's been days where we were good enough to win. It just didn't happen. And those days, you can't say, well, he's never going to win. He's not good enough. Those things, it's absurd. If you're good enough to run up front each and every week, if you're consistent enough to lead a lot of laps, if you can dominate races, even though you don't put it all together, it doesn't all come together and go your way, it doesn't mean you're not capable. And that's what we look at each and every single week. Chad preaches it to me. Michael does the same. But at the end of the day, this sport is all about winning, and it feels damn good to get this thing out of the way and get to victory lane.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Congratulations, gentlemen, on this win. Martin, this might be redundant. You may have just answered it, but what variables helped you manage all those emotions and frustrations when you leave the racetrack and you finish second again, and you wonder if it's ever going to happen again?
My support group, Sherry, my team, my family, all the people that are special to me. I mean, it's difficult. There's been days when I was like, this sucks. This isn't any fun anymore. But again, the past couple of years have just been great, and I owe so many people thanks. Just proud to be able to work with this group of people and and thankful for the opportunity. I mean, we're all very lucky to get what we do, to do this, and to get to do what we do, and to get the opportunity to win races, and at this level, I've already accomplished more than I ever thought I would. So it's just a lot of fun to be able to run good and try to win races, and I think that. For us, we're just really starting to come into our own, and there's no limit to what we can do. We've got the talent, we've got the people, and we've got the people behind us that we need to keep pushing us forward. So hopefully we can do this a whole bunch more times.
This just in, I got a text from Bobby Kennedy. He said, "I'll definitely be late."
I ain't coming in tomorrow either. Got news for you.
Any more upstairs?
Yeah, Louis Frank of Auto Week. For Michael, a serious note, Dale Earnhardt stuck with you for a long, long time while, other people might have scoffed. How does that influence you to stay with Martin or anybody else?
I built my team with Dale in mind. He lives with me. I mean, he's part of who I am because I just appreciated who he was and how he went about things. People worked on his cars at Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, before I got there. When Dale would walk by, you could just tell people were thinking, these are Dale Earnhardt's cars. He don't have to have a team. He could be off hunting or fishing, but he loves cars and he has a team. And so I always wanted a team because of a few people. My brother, he had a team when he was racing for Junior Johnson that he had behind us, in Charlotte, that was just a little nationwide team, and I was the same way. And Dale was he was the inspiration for who we are today. We try to build a cool shop like he built. I try to motivate and inspire people by showing them how much I love this sport and love this organization. So I had a special moment today when I got to lean in to Martin and see him, crying over winning, because that's how important this thing we do is. And so it took me back to 2001, and while that was a really tough day, it was also a special day for me because I've learned something over the years. If I'm running third in the Daytona 500 and Clint and Martin are going off to win, and that's the end of my road, just know I went away happy. And that's how I live with what happened to Dale, as he was watching me and Dale Jr. go do what we did, and he's like, this is a pretty damn good day. So I hate to bum up the moment, but damn, it was really special for me to see Martin today.
Any more upstairs?
No more questions.
We'll go to Phil.
Chad, Martin talked a little bit about how he remained pretty calm towards the end, not worrying about a caution. How about you? Were you watching the monitor? There was some action behind him over those last 5 or 10 laps.
Watch the monitor, but listen to the scanner feed from NASCAR, and just, when there's going to be a caution, they typically start talking about it. So, there was people chattering and people calling in cautions, but typically you can look at the scoring monitor and find out what's real and what's not, just based on who's calling out the debris. So, like I said, you made your bed, so at that point it was what it was. We pitted and topped off with fuel, and I had already made the decision that no matter what, we weren't coming back. So you just had to hope that it went your way, and if it does, it's great, and if not, you got to find a way to overcome it. So.
Hi, Debbie Arrington, Sacramento Bee. Congratulations to all of you. Martin, it's your birthday this coming week?
Next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, this is an early present.
Yeah,
Kentucky, yeah.
Kentucky.
Yeah. Well, how are you guys going to celebrate this one?
That's a good question. Probably, win Kentucky. I don't know. We'll worry about my birthday next week. That's because we race Saturday night, too. So we race on my birthday next week. But celebrate? Heck, I don't know. We got a long flight home. I'm going to find me a cooler to stock. Already done. See? I got some friends riding home with me tonight, and I don't know. I'm not sure. Big party at my house tomorrow, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, I've done this in a while. I used to do this a lot, right? But I'm kind of out of practice, so I need to get back home and figure it out. I'm sure my phone is just completely blown up right now with text messages and phone calls and all that stuff. So I can't wait to go get it and see who. Can't wait to call my mom and dad and see who's texting me.
I guess I better text you.
No, you don't. You're already here. You don't have to. So you don't have to text me. We already talked.
Steve Richards, PRN. Martin, obviously it was an emotional win. Oh, we're getting pictures with the goblet.
It's for tweeting. It's for Twitter.
Whose goblet is it, by the way?
I don't know.
It's ours.
It's ours.
We have a rule. If someone has something that someone else likes, we just get another one. So, I wanted that trophy a year ago because it was really cool.
Obviously, it was an emotional win. What were your thoughts when you took the checkered flag and the cool-down lap? What was going through your mind?
I don't even know. Like, I was like, I was a freaking mess. Like, I couldn't even, seriously, it was terrible. I had to stop and start doing donuts because I had no clue what I was doing. Like, I couldn't even talk. I tried to key the radio once and nothing came out. And I was like, okay, I'm going to just do some donuts up here and wave to all the fans. But after I stopped the first time you did that, I calmed down a little bit. And I just wanted to make sure I took my time coming back. Because I remember at Dover, it all happened way too fast. And you never know when you're going to get that opportunity again, And so I made sure I at least destroyed both of my rear tires. Took my time and waved to everybody, got the checkered flag, and came back slow. I wanted to make sure I told them on the radio, I said, if they're waiting on me too bad, I'm taking my time. So that's the only thing I thought of after I kind of got it together. But when I first crossed the line, it was I just was screaming. I don't even know what I was saying on the radio. No idea. Best feeling, you can't explain the feeling, when it's been that long and you work so hard and you've been so close and so many things have just, you always, when you think at times, man, is this ever going to happen again? It's just, you can't explain the feeling. It's pretty surreal. So, unbelievable.
Daryl Wright, J Moore Sports, Fox Sports Radio. This question is for Chad.
Yeah. I know you.
Yeah. Martin said earlier that when he's on the radio, he's yes sir, no sir right now. Chad, how are you going to keep his ego under control now that he's won?
He's always got the good questions.
Yeah. First off, if you've tuned in any time, it's not always yes sir, no sir. It's what did you do that for? But no, I don't have to worry about it. He knows what he's here to do as well as all of us, and it's to come here and go to the racetrack every week and win every week. I told him my goal is to make him win so much that people didn't like him. So that's what we're out to do.
Well, you're off to a bad start.
Yeah, I know.
There's still a lot of people who don't like me.
I don't know. I love you.
This one's also for Chad. The setup. Yesterday was hot, and today was cold. Then it had a little bit of rain. How did you handle this setup?
We talked about that this morning. I've never raced in Sonoma when it's been overcast and cool. It's usually hot and slick. So, it was hot and slick Friday during practice, so I really didn't know which way it was going to go. I kind of anticipated that it was going to have more grip and he was going to drive it harder and it was going to get slicker faster. But he did a really good job of managing his tires and keeping his tires on it. We knew before we ever came here that was going to be the determining factor of who was going to win the race was who maintained their tires the best and, who kept their car in good shape for the end of it for a late caution that we didn't get. But, there really wasn't much difference. We knew what our trouble areas were, and we knew, we made some adjustments after Friday to try to fix those for yesterday, but we were kind of smoked out, so we really didn't know what we had during qualifying. But he did a good job making the lap that he did, even though there was smoke billowing out of it. So, we just made the normal adjustments and, tried to anticipate it the best we could. We really didn't have any data to go off of because we've never raced in Sonoma when it's cool and overcast. So, yeah, it's swag.
He used swag.
Yeah. Mojo.
Scientific wild-ass guess.
Yeah.
Any more questions upstairs?
I use those a lot.
Thank you.
No question.
Thank you.
Any
you,
more
guys.
questions down here?
Okay, if you have one-on-ones,
You got
let us know.
one more? One more.
One more. Sorry. Last one.
Okay, I have a question for Michael, and you talked about the team. It's not always easy to put a team together, and Michael Waltrip Racing is a complete team. What has been your plan to make it so? How'd you do that?
I was just real fortunate that when I started the team, I was more of a entrepreneurial, visionary kind of guy, and after about 2 months of racing with me sort of in charge, we were out of money and it wasn't looking good. And I met Rob Kaufman, and Rob's my co-owner. We're partners at Michael Waltrip Racing, and he's a genius in the business world and understands how to run a business properly. And we partnered together, and since he showed up in 2007 till today, we're best buddies, and he is the key to our survival. And between me and him, we came up with a plan in early 2011 of how we were going to make our cars better, and it meant some changes at MWR, but our plan was solid, and with the support of Toyota, we made our cars better and gave him a chance to do what he's doing now. So it's a partnership in the truest form, and Rob does a lot of things really well that I don't know how to do, and I do a couple things really well that he lets me do. So I'm really thankful for Rob, because without Rob, my dream would have ended before y'all ever, would have known that we had the potential to do what we've done.